You're at the gym, you're in the queue at the supermarket, and you see someone with a little round disc stuck to their arm. What is this device? The word device, D-E-V-I-C-E, means a little piece of technology. What are all these healthy-looking people in the UK and plenty of other countries doing with a device, a medical device, stuck to their arms? Well, that little device is called a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. It measures your blood sugar without stopping, and it sends the data to your phone so you can look at it. And this little device may be about to revolutionize healthcare. Today, we're going to look at CGMs, at the UK's Zoey programme and what they're doing, and why there's a big fuss in the health world about all of this. There's some brilliant new science, and I'm going to ask two big questions. Firstly, why are some doctors angry because people are wearing CGMs? And secondly, why did the biggest company in the UK who were promoting CGMs stop using them? I'll answer both questions. Adept English is all about helping you to learn to speak fluent English through listening. This mirrors exactly how native speakers pick up the language, learn to speak English through hearing it. We take interesting topics, things happening in the real world, and turn them into natural English practice, real world English. I'll be giving you today lots of great vocabulary and a couple of idioms to help your English language learning. Listen on. For a long time, the advice we had about diet, certainly in the UK, has been pretty useless. We were told, eat less fat, avoid saturated fat, eat more vegetables. That's probably still a good one. And if you want to lose weight, count calories. But people in the UK and many other countries have just got less and less healthy, and most don't lose weight. Thank goodness better health information is now available to us. How lucky we are. And part of this change in the UK, a company called Zoey. I'm not paid by Zoey, by the way. I'm not sponsored. This is just Hillary's opinion on things. So a UK company called Zoey has been using science to develop a much greater understanding of our diet. Diet, D-I-E-T, means what we eat. And our nutrition. That's nutrition, N-U-T-R-I-T-I-O-N. Nutrition means what's in our food and the effect of it on our bodies when we eat it, and the effect on our health. Zoey funds their research by having paying customers. Customers pay Zoey and submit samples from their own bodies. Zoey analyse the data and come back to their customers with excellent personalised health data. Personalised means the data is unique to them, based on their own body. So Zoey have collected huge amounts of data and used it for research. This means that the type of research which is essential to understand our bodies better, understand our diet and nutrition, how it makes us healthy or unhealthy. The Zoey programme makes sure this research gets done. This is research that Big Pharma is never going to do because they can't make money from it. And it's research which governments wouldn't be able to afford. So this work is really important. Zoey sometimes get criticised because they're a business, but the benefits, the mutual benefits for their customers and for Zoey are great. You give us your data and we'll give you feedback on your body and how it's working. It's the only way this research would ever be funded, and that's brilliant. If I was to use an English idiom here, I'd say it's an example of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So for a long time, Zoey gave its customers on the programme a CGM and asked them to record what they ate so that their unique body's reaction could be checked. And the results from all this CGM data were amazing, really useful, both for Zoey's research and for Zoey customers. A journalist writing for Marie Claire magazine called Ali Head tried using a CGM for a year. She called what she learned game-changing. Game-changing, that means something that completely changes someone's view or how a situation develops. Ali Head says, I've personally tested a blood glucose monitor, that's a CGM, and trialed the recommended blood glucose-friendly diet for the past year, and I cannot put it any other way. It's changed my life, she says. Basically, a CGM allows you to see how your body handles sugar and carbohydrates, things like bread and pasta. And you can also see whether you're in danger of developing a disease called type 2 diabetes. Apparently, lots of us are in danger of this. The CGM also shows which foods are healthy for you and which ones are best avoided. People usually change their diet after wearing a CGM. I certainly have. And there is now a great deal of research which suggests that high blood sugar, what's monitored by the CGM, and the effect of highly processed foods are helping to create all kinds of diseases in our bodies, especially diseases like type 2 diabetes, which are associated with older age. Diet appears to be key to a lot of our long-term health problems. It all sounds great, doesn't it? So why are some people upset and speaking out against it? Why do some doctors and nutritionists, experts in nutrition, not want us to have access to Zoey or to CGMs? Before we get on to the angry doctors and nutritionists, if you want to make your English language learning a regular habit, remember we have a fantastic subscription service. If you go to adeptenglish.com, you can sign up for 8 extra episodes per month and boost your English massively. I also cover many interesting topics. The cost, £5 or $6 per month. And it's completely ad-free, better than many language courses, and allows you to gradually improve your level of English naturally, as well as you learning all kinds of interesting things about the world. I certainly learn a lot when I make podcasts and episodes. So go to adeptenglish.com and find out more. Anyway, back to those angry doctors and nutritionists who don't want us to wear CGMs. A confusing article from the BBC News website, for example. The headline, Doctors Question Science Behind Blood Sugar Diet Trend. The article quoted an NHS advisor who said, there is no strong evidence that these devices help people who do not already have diabetes. The lack of evidence will be because nobody's researching it, apart from organisations like Zoey, that is. And actually now there is quite a lot of evidence that high blood sugar is likely over time to cause disease. I hate this sort of news reporting that masks the truth by telling half the story. Even worse, one dietitian in the article actually objected to healthy people using CGMs. She said that high blood sugar is just a symptom of disease, not a cause. So what she's saying is, just worry about it when you're already sick, when you're already ill. I say, if high blood sugar is only a symptom, that's symptom, or sign of disease, how come people can reverse their type 2 diabetes through using a diet that reduces blood sugar level? This sort of old thinking ignores the whole idea of preventative health. Preventative health means trying to prevent disease before it begins. It's like changing the oil in your car engine so that the engine stays healthy, rather than waiting for the engine to simply explode. Preventative health means educating people so that they make healthier choices. And what could be better than personalised scientific advice from data that comes from your own body? For people with type 2 diabetes, when they're educated about it, do they choose to carry on with medication, or do they prefer to reverse their type 2 diabetes through diet? My money's on most people prefer the education and the non-farmer route. So we know tracking your blood sugar is useful, even if you don't have diabetes, because it might prevent you from getting it. When you've seen the effect on your blood sugar of eating certain foods, it's very motivating. You don't want to eat them anymore. And that's the point. The other point is we're not all the same. So standard diet advice doesn't help that much. The scientists in the Zoey program had some surprising results, things they didn't know would happen. For example, bananas are usually seen as a healthy food. It's fruit after all. And actually, some people are okay with bananas, but for lots of people, it raises their blood sugar levels a lot. They are better off with an apple because of the way their body reacts to bananas. Apples or bananas? Which type are you? Well, without wearing a CGM, no one knows. And that brings me to the second question. If CGMs are so useful, why is the Zoey program no longer using them? Well, the answer to that is fascinating. Zoey now asks instead for a stool sample. That's S-T-O-O-L. The word stool? Well, it can mean a bar stool, the seat you sit in at a bar when you're having a drink. But the word stool in English is a polite word for poo. It's what comes out when you go to the toilet. Why does Zoey want your poo? Well, because it's fantastically useful for understanding your biology, the important data from your body. It's not glamorous, but to use an English idiom, a stool sample is worth its weight in gold if you want personalized health data. So did Zoey remove the CGMs from their program because the angry doctors were right? Not at all. They changed it because of what they discovered from studying the microbiome of 34,000 customers so far. Your microbiome, that's M-I-C-R-O, micro, and biome, B-I-O-M-E, that means all the tiny bacteria, living things inside a particular environment. And here, it's the microbiome, the bacteria in your digestive system. Zoey have worked out that by testing your microbiome, they can tell what your blood sugar responses will be without you needing to wear a CGM. And they can tell a lot else besides. So Zoey's program have only abandoned CGMs because the science has evolved, moved forward. Zoey have been criticised for charging £300 to people to go on their program. It's true, not everyone can afford it. But what they've done is groundbreaking research which could save the lives of all kinds of people, not just the ones that pay £300. Valuable research has been done that hasn't been driven by Big Pharma. And Zoey have used this new information to halve the cost of the program. They just need a stool sample, which means more people can participate, more people can take part, and Zoey can carry on collecting more and more data, which benefits all of us. It's the only way this sort of research can be done. So the next time you see a news article that criticizes something that departs from the standard model of healthcare, keep an open mind. The reporting often isn't very high quality. And learning how your body functions is always a good idea. Catching the warning signs early is surely much better than just becoming ill. Notice all the lovely vocabulary we've used today: CGMs, diet, nutrition, microbiome, symptom. These are brilliant words for discussing your health. Listen to this podcast a few times to let those words become perfectly natural to you. Take care of yourselves and look after all those little microbes in your microbiome. Many of them help us stay healthy.